One of my earliest memories, full stop, is the '94 World Cup. I remember, obviously that was, I think, the year before. That was when I was really getting into football and everything. And then I remember when Nigeria actually qualified for the World Cup. When they, I think they beat Ivory Coast on penalties, and then it was big. So I was like, wow, man, Nigeria are going to their very first World Cup. So I think because it was good to their very first World Cup, everybody in Nigeria was like, wow, this is a huge thing. Nigeria are now finally on the world stage. Um, and I think one of the first things I remember was when Nigeria played against Argentina, and everybody was telling me, like, the older guys, like, were telling me about man, Maradona. I was like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And everybody was just telling me about how this was just one of the greatest players ever. So there was this kind of like mythical thing about him. And I remember that, I don't know whether this is true, but I remember, like, even before the game, the Nigerian players were actually scared of Maradona. And even when they played him, they were actually scared to go near him because there was such a mythical nature to him. There was such a respect to it. It's almost like a mysticism of like what this guy is, the greatness that he did, that even in the Nigerians psychologically, mentally were affected by it. So that was really my first foray into greatness and how greatness can really affect you as a footballer. But I think also as well, I just remember in the '94 World Cup, like, it was in America. The fact that it was in America, people thought that, okay, look, it's this USA, they don't really care about football, so how will this be hosted well? But I just think that America embraced it. They had an amazing kit, by the way. Their kits at that World Cup was flipping amazing. But I think they embraced it really well because, again, every single stadium was fully sold out. The crowds got into it, and I think there was a very vibrant nature to it that's unlike any other World Cup. Because I think you look at the 1990 World Cup, I think a big criticism was how big the stadiums were and how detracted the fans were from the field because of how big the running track was. But the beauty about this was that the stadiums were large, the fans were always in there, and the fans were actually close to the stadium. And the stadiums they just looked beautiful, and it was sunny all the time. I think all the matches were played in the day because it was an American time. All the matches were in the daytime, so there was just an electricity to the entire tournament, And again, one of the I think this was the two guys who were really pinpointed was Romario for Brazil and Baggio for Italy. These were both of the figureheads for either team, and you just felt like if both of these guys were on a collision course, because we had Italy, the defensive masters, and Brazil, the attack masters. But then, so I remember when, and it was also a huge thing when Iachini scored that goal, man. I remember because it was a huge thing, Nigeria's first ever goal, and that is one of the most iconic football moments of just how he celebrated, because Iachini was such a patriot, a guy who would die for his country. I just hear he just went into the net and just grabbed the net and everything. You just felt how much he cared for his nation and how important it was for him to score that first goal for him. But I think, Nigeria, they took everybody by storm, because it was the first time you saw an African team who really knew how to play. Again, no offense to what Cameroon did in '98, they were very good, but I think this was a team that technically were on a very high level, where you're like, no, these guys, they really know how to play. I think people were surprised just by the ability of all the players in the team. And that's why you look at that Italy game where, Italy were down to 10 men, and look at how Nigeria played. They were, as leading through the goal by Samson Siasa, they were literally seconds away from knocking Italy out. And then you had Baggio, and this was Baggio's tournament, where he scored that goal in the last few minutes. Only if Olise had put his legs to block it. And then Baggio then scored the winner in extra time. Boom, 10-man Italy that they went through. But I think a lot of people respected Nigeria after that game, and just how well they played and how well they stood up to Italy. And I think going on even deeper, and also as well, this was also when we actually saw Henrik Larsson, and where Henrik Larsson really announced himself to the world. And also I remember Kenneth Anderson's celebration, because he was obviously the main man for Sweden. I remember he always did this like that with his celebration. It was very iconic. But I think this was all about Brazil, Italy. And for me, whenever I say this, people think that Nah. What the hell are you talking about? That's the 94 World Cup final, in my view, was the greatest World Cup final ever. Because it made sense. The tournament was so blistering. It was so crazy. It was also the same tournament where Brazil beat Holland, and that celebration was actually coined by Bebeto, who had a baby. So I think he was the first guy to coin the baby celebration, and it was joined in by Romario and so forth. But it's had so many iconic moments, Maradona crying when Argentina lost to Romania, that it only felt right that for 120 minutes, we literally saw like one chance. Maybe 2 or 3 chances in 120 minutes. Italy's defense, Franco Baresi had one of the greatest games I've ever seen a player have. Like his defense, and it's on YouTube. Franco Baresi's defending for 120 minutes was incredible. I remember because I was so young, I was like, well, "What the hell?" I didn't even understand. And I think basically just to show you how young I was, when Nigeria drew when it was 1-1 against Italy, I thought the game was over. Then when I got told that we lost, I was like, how the hell did we lose? Because I didn't actually understand what extra time meant. Because this was literally my first time really watching football games. And again, for me, because I was so young, I remember going in and out of the room watching the Brazil-Italy game, and I was like, damn, this match is still going? Because there was just an epic feel to the match. And of course, one of the most iconic moments in sports, I would say. Because people forget that Baggio had an amazing tournament. Literally, at almost every game, Baggio had scored the key goal, scored the goal against Nigeria, scored the winning goal against Bulgaria, and he was having an amazing tournament. And he was literally carrying Italy on his back. Because you saw a hint of him in 1990, and he just really came into fruition in 1994. So, when Baggio stepped up to take the penalty, you just assume that, boom, Baggio's going to put it in, and we're just going to keep on going and see who's going to blink first. Because it just seemed right that, Baggio, one of the stars of the tournament, a guy who had an amazing tournament for Italy, was going to put the ball at the back of the net. So the very fact that he not only missed, it went over the bar. It was so shocking that a player who had played so well would put his penalty over the bar that and that moment fully etched in my mind. It's fully etched in my mind. And then we go, and Brazil, and ended up winning. And I think because of that, people forget how good a tournament that Baggio had, but at the same time, the tournament belonged to Romario, because Romario was the guy who scored the key goals, and again, he scored one of the most unique goals I've ever seen. Like, just look up his goal against Sweden. Like, just the way he finished it. Only a guy like Romario could finish a ball like that, because Romario, psychologically and mentally, was different. Like, the way he played the game, he was just a different player mentally, how he played the game. And Brazil won. And I remember this was a very different Brazil that they weren't attacking, they weren't as offensive. But I think based on how they were so disappointed in 1980, I think their focus was win. I think that's what they wanted to focus on. And actually, still, my brother actually had that Brazil jersey, which I still sometimes wear. So I think it was a tournament in which, because it was also the first time that America decided that, all right, we want to now do this whole football thing. And that is where really the American, I think the MLS and America's view towards football began to really say, look, let's just take this a bit more seriously. Because I think before 94, they're like, yeah, we'll be there, we'll compete, so forth. I think because of the 94 World Cup, I think America saw, wow, this sport is really big. And people really love this sport. I mean, we can talk about our basketball and our American Egg Bowl, but there's something about this sport that really brings people together. So I think that's really what launched America through. But I think, so I mean, my memories of 94 World Cup it was a World Cup that, it's, that was really what got me started in football. Because seeing the team, seeing the individuals, seeing Maradona cry on the bench, seeing Iachini's passion, seeing the way that Nigeria played, seeing how Nigeria stepped up to these big teams like Argentina and Italy, seeing what Romario did, seeing what Brazil did, seeing just the blends of styles, so just seeing this at the World Cup, I said, no, this tournament is special. This is unlike anything. And there is just something unique about these 2 months in a year, that is every four years, that isn't really replicated by anything else, you know. So yeah, man, that '94 World Cup, man, a long time ago, but definitely it was one in which really brought the, because in my view, I still believe it's my favorite World Cup, and I believe it is one of the best World Cups based on just how well it was hosted by America, how well they embraced it, you know, and I just think that, you know what, Nigeria could have won that World Cup, man. They could have won that World Cup. But yeah, Badger, man, iconic moments. I knew it was over, and I remember like that's why I don't really cry a lot. So I remember crying, and I was like, you know what, I can't let this get me this. I'm too invested.